Hello students, I hope you all are fine at your home. Here we start our topic of class 10th biology, that is respiration in human beings. Let's start. So, in human beings, many organs take part in the process of respiration and we call them organs of respiratory system. The main organs of human respiratory system are nostrils, nasal cavity, pharynx, larynx, trachea, bronchi, bronchioles, lungs, alveoli and diaphragm. Okay. So let's see the arrangement of these organs in respiratory system. So now let's see the path which connects external air to the lungs. The air enters the body through the nose or nostrils, then to nasal cavity which is lined by fine hairs. Here oxygenated air is brought in before moving down the pharynx, larynx and trachea. Now the part of throat between the mouth and windpipe is called pharynx and tube which forming a passage between the pharynx and trachea is called larynx or voice box also. And the trachea, mainly known as a windpipe, is a thin walled tube that extends downwards. The trachea branches into two bronchi, okay, each leading into a lung. Each bronchus divides into smaller bronchi and again into even smaller tubes called bronchioles. The bronchi and their branch gives the appearance of a bunch of grapes. The bronchioles end in cluster of tiny pouch-like structure called alveoli. Alveoli form the respiratory surface of the lungs and gases exchange takes place here only. Alveoli have all the characteristic of a good respiratory surface, that is they are thin walled, permeable, moist and have vast surface area. Alveoli are covered by blood capillaries for effective exchange of gases. So now, after studying about the structure of human respiratory system, have a look on concept of breathing. The entire mechanism of breathing is ruled by two processes. These are inhalation and exhalation. Inhalation is the process of taking in oxygen rich air, while exhalation is the process of giving out carbon dioxide rich air. One breath involves one complete inhalation and exhalation. Now let's see how air from outside is sucked into our lungs during inhalation and how air from our lungs is pushed out during exhalation. The process of breathing takes place in our lungs. Our two lungs hang in an airtight space called chest cavity. And the sides of chest cavity is covered by rib cage. Yes, the rib cage encloses the lungs in it. And at the bottom of chest cavity is a curved sheet of muscles called diaphragm, which forms the floor of chest cavity. So the process of breathing involves the movement of rib cage and diaphragm. Let's see the mechanism. When we breathe in, the muscles between the ribs contract, causing the rib cage to move upward and outward, and the diaphragm also contract and moves downward. So, due to these both functions, the space in the chest cavity increases and make it larger. And as the chest cavity become larger, air is sucked in from outside the lungs. Next is what? When we breathe out, this time the muscles between the ribs relax, causing the rib cage to move downward and inward, and the diaphragm also relax and moves upward. Again, due to these both functions, the space in our chest cavity decreases and make it smaller. So air is pushed out from the lungs. So after studying about mechanism of breathing, now we can differentiate the process of inhalation and exhalation. Have a look. In inhalation, due to uplifting of ribs and contraction in diaphragm, the volume of lungs increases and air enters the lungs. While during exhalation, the ribs moves downward and diaphragm becomes its dome shape, causing the volume of lungs decreases and air exits from lungs. So now have a look on exchange of gases between alveolar sac and blood capillaries. First, from alveoli, oxygen diffuses into blood. It includes transport of oxygen from lungs to tissues also. So for this purpose, a respiratory pigment, that is hemoglobin, is present in RPCs. So oxygen binds with hemoglobin and transport to all the cells of the body. Okay. Second is from blood, carbon dioxide diffuses into alveoli. As carbon dioxide is more soluble in water than oxygen, so it is transported mostly in the dissolved form in our blood. So from tissues, carbon dioxide released into blood and next to alveolar sac, and from here carbon dioxide sent out through nostrils. Thus, this was all about respiration in human beings. In the next session, we will be discussing about remaining part of this chapter.